A boy is constantly bullied by his classmates until he meets a criminal who teaches him self-defense. Imagine Wesley, a deaf boy, waiting for the school bus on a rural road in North Dakota. When he boards, he settles into the back seat while the vehicle, affectionately nicknamed the Rocket, is bombarded by snowballs thrown by mischievous kids. At the school for the deaf, Wesley and his classmates diligently practice learning the Pledge of Allegiance in sign language. However, a not-so-friendly classmate insists on rubbing boogers into Wesley's hair, who, with the patience of a monk, pretends not to notice. After school, Wesley gets off the bus and crosses the forest toward the small commune where he lives. During dinner, his mother, Gail, reads a notice about a late mortgage payment. But instead of despair, the family engages in light conversation. His sister, Amber, asks for a crocodile for dessert, and everyone laughs at the absurd idea. Later, Wesley plays checkers with his mom and wins, though it's clear she let him win to encourage him. The next day, on the way to school, Wesley comes across a police barricade, with patrol cars and an ambulance near a building. When he returns home, he discovers his father, Ronnie, a long-absent truck driver, has come back after a long period. The reunion is tense. Wesley hesitates before hugging his father, who seems more interested in discussing recent news about a local shooting than praising Wesley's score of 95 on a history test. Ronnie also gets frustrated with Gail for using sign language with Wesley, insisting that since the boy uses a hearing aid and reads lips, he should be treated as normal. With Gail absent the following evening, Ronnie takes care of Wesley. At school, the bullying continues, with the same classmate putting more boogers into Wesley's hair, and Wesley keeps ignoring it. On the way back, Wesley finds an injured man in the snow, hands bloody, who silences him with a gesture. Trying to tell his father what happened, Wesley faces Ronnie's frustration, as Ronnie demands Wesley write down what he wants to say, since Ronnie doesn't understand sign language. Determined to help on his own, Wesley returns to the spot and finds the man still there. With an effort worthy of a small John McClane, he puts the man on a sled and takes him to an abandoned barn, where he tucks him in with blankets. When the man wakes up, he realizes Wesley is deaf and comments ironically that the boy isn't missing much. Wesley, showing impressive maturity, brings medical supplies from home, and the man treats his wound. Their unlikely friendship strengthens as the man teaches Wesley how to defend himself against bullies and play checkers without others letting him win. Meanwhile, tensions at home rise. Ronnie, unable to accept his son's deafness, explodes in frustration when Wesley doesn't respond to his requests at the dinner table. In a moment of anger, he slams the table to get the boy's attention, scaring Wesley's sister in the process. The relationship between father and son deteriorates further, as Ronnie refuses to learn to communicate effectively with Wesley. In a twist, Wesley gets involved in a mission to help the mysterious man, delivering a ring to a trucker at a roadside cafe. In return, the man teaches Wesley to defend himself and face his fears, preparing him to confront the school bully. Their friendship gives Wesley the father figure he doesn't find in Ronnie, while the man finds in Wesley a reason to reconsider his life choices. Danny Murphy, who plays Wesley, is deaf in real life. His disability is even more severe than Wesley's, as he cannot read lips. Additionally, being British, Danny was fluent in British Sign Language, which is completely different from American Sign Language, ASL. When the ASL interpreters first met him, they struggled to understand him, comparing his signing to a thick Scottish accent. As a result, Danny learned ASL specifically for the film. If I were in Wesley's place, I might not have had the courage to help an injured stranger without consulting an adult first, given the dangers involved. On the other hand, Wesley's determination to help someone in need, despite his own vulnerability, is admirable and inspiring. An interesting point is how the film addresses communication and the barriers faced by deaf people, highlighting the importance of inclusion and empathy. The man instructs Wesley to bring a thermos and a piggy bank. He breaks open the piggy bank, fills the thermos with coins, and after an improvised percussion session on the metal reservoir, hands the backpack to Wesley, encouraging him to do the same. However, Wesley struggles to hit with force. Channeling his inner coach, the man scolds him, "What's wrong with you? Stop acting like a dandy and swing it like it's the last Coke in the desert." Motivated, Wesley loses his patience and hits with vigor. At school, Wesley, now with the confidence of a newly discovered superhero, waits for recess. When the bully approaches, Wesley unexpectedly stands up, looks him in the eyes, and, remembering the man's words, "Stay calm, stand firm, and break his head like it's a piñata," the bully, unable to withstand the pressure, backs off in fear. Returning home, Wesley finds his mother talking to Mr. Chamber, who mentions a robbery that occurred 3 weeks earlier. 4 out of 5 robbers were caught, but 1 escaped. When Mr. Chamber shows a photo of the fugitive, Wesley recognizes the man from the barn. They know he's injured and may not be able to move. Mr. Chamber asks Wesley if he's seen the man, Wesley remains silent. After sharing a story about a neighbor who adopted a mountain lion cub, Mr. Chamber leaves. Later, while playing checkers, Wesley notices the man is missing a finger on his left hand. The man tells him a tiger bit it off, but he tracked and hunted the animal, squeezing its heart so hard it turned into a ruby, now set in his ring. All tigers fear him since then. Wesley falls asleep in the hay, but the man wakes him, advising him to return home before his parents notice his absence. On the way to school, Wesley paints his finger black to mimic his new friend. They have fun, learning the Pledge of Allegiance in sign language, playing like father and son. When Wesley goes to fetch the ball, he doesn't notice the sheriff spying through the barn window. The man, with reflexes like a secret agent, grabs him, covers his mouth, and pulls a gun, but the sheriff backs off. That night, Wesley tries to go to the barn, but his father intercepts him. Drunk, Ronnie complains that nothing in the house works, neither the tractor nor the TV, and that his father fixed everything by hitting it. He starts punching the TV, eventually kicking it, and yells at Wesley, asking where he's going. The next morning, Wesley brings toilet paper to the barn and tries to leave quickly. The man notices bruises on Wesley's face and deduces they were caused by Ronnie. Wesley's mother examines the bruise, and Ronnie lies, claiming he accidentally hit Wesley while punching the TV. At dinner, Ronnie proposes taking Wesley fishing, but the boy doesn't understand without sign language. His mother translates and Wesley agrees, though his eyes reveal concern. Later, Ronnie is at the bar. When he goes outside to urinate, a man approaches him, and after an altercation, Ronnie ends up in the hospital, severely beaten. At the next dinner, Wesley finally sits in his favorite seat, which Ronnie had forbidden. After the meal, he goes to the barn, where the man shares a childhood story about horses he couldn't name and a barn that burned down, suggesting it's easier to let go of something when you don't know its name. Falling asleep, the man murmurs that he would take Wesley with him, living together with his daughter and caring for horses. At school, Wesley learns the phrase in sign language, "I'm going on a trip." He imagines caring for horses on the farm with the man and his daughter. Visiting his father in the hospital, Wesley finds 2 investigators showing a photo of the man for identification. That afternoon, the man mentions that a snowplow has been passing more frequently, sometimes stopping in front of the house. Wesley wakes up that night and notices flashing police lights and a helicopter spotlight. The next day, the man comments that the snowplow hasn't passed all day and asks if Wesley told anyone about him. Wesley, with the subtlety of a little spy, remains silent. The man, sensing the tension, tells Wesley to be ready the next night. Excited, Wesley packs his things, tells his sister he's going on a trip, and heads to the barn. After a game of checkers, the man tells Wesley he can't come with him. Desperate, Wesley speaks a word for the first time, but the man, forced to be harsh, pushes him away. Wesley runs outside and is grabbed by a police officer. From the car, he sees Mr. Chamber leading the operation. The man starts shooting and is killed. Wesley tries to scream in pain, but no sound comes out. The next day, Wesley finds a checkers board filled with money and the man's ring near the barn. At home, he faces his father without fear, gives him a condescending hug, and in his room, puts the ring on his finger, as if it were the one ring of his own journey. If I were in Wesley's shoes, I probably wouldn't have hidden a fugitive in the barn, considering the risks. However, I would have sought help from a trusted adult or the authorities to deal with the situation. Thank you so much for watching until now. And now I just ask you to check out this very interesting video. I guarantee you'll love it. Take care.